What on earth is going on here? I demanded, rushing home after my mom's frantic phone call. My heart was pounding as I skidded to a stop in front of our house. A massive moving truck was parked outside, its engine idling like a beast waiting to pounce. Men were hauling furniture and boxes into the house, our house. I stormed inside, my voice sharp and trembling. Whose stuff is this? What's happening? My husband, Alex, stood in the living room, arms crossed, as calm as a summer breeze. It's my parents' stuff, he said, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Your parents' stuff? I exploded, my voice cracking. You moved your parents in without even asking me? Without asking my mom? And you just kicked her out? How could you do this? Alex, how could you be so selfish? My name is Emma, I'm 28, and I thought I knew the man I married. Alex and I met at work, fell in love, and tied the knot almost 2 years ago. We've been living in my mom's house ever since her accident left her with a disability. She can manage some things on her own, but I've always been terrified of leaving her alone for too long. Alex seemed to understand, at first, but lately, his selfishness has been unbearable. Just last week, I tried to talk to him about my mom's upcoming hospital appointment. Hey, Alex, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, we need to take mom to the hospital this Saturday. He didn't even look up from his phone. Huh? He grunted. I haven't even finished talking, I snapped, my patience wearing thin. Let me guess, he interrupted, rolling his eyes. You want me to take her? Well, I'm not ruining my day off for that. No, I said, clenching my fists. I wanted you to stay home and take care of the house while I take her. Is that too much to ask? Yeah, it is, he shot back, his tone icy. That's your job as a housewife, not mine, and it's my day off. Housewife? I nearly shouted. We both work. Alex, or have you forgotten? When we got married, we promised to support each other, including helping our parents. But you've done nothing but complain and ignore me every time I ask for help. You come home at the same time as me, but you never lift a finger to cook or clean. Instead, you sit there and make demands like some spoiled child. His response was always the same. I'm hungry. Is the food ready yet? Tell your mom to make it. She's home all day anyway. Or just give me some money, and we'll eat out. I bit my tongue every time, but the resentment was building. I knew we needed to have a serious conversation, one that couldn't wait any longer. Then, one morning, everything came to a head. I was in the kitchen making breakfast when my mom shuffled out of her room, her face pale and drenched in sweat. She looked like she was about to collapse. Mom, I cried, rushing to her side. What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm just so hot, she whispered, her voice weak. I touched her forehead, it was burning up. It's 82 degrees outside. Mom, why didn't you turn on the air conditioning in your room? She hesitated, her eyes darting away. It doesn't work well. The ventilation is bad. My stomach dropped. What do you mean it doesn't work well? Alex told me not to use it because it wastes electricity. Is that why you've been suffering in silence? She nodded, and something inside me snapped. This wasn't just about the air conditioning. This was about respect, about care, about the promises Alex had broken. I turned to face him, my hands shaking with rage. Alex, I said, my voice low and dangerous, we need to talk, now. Excuse me? My mom said, her voice trembling. Alex told you not to use the air conditioning? In this heat? We'll get sick if we don't use it. I was stunned, my hands clenched into fists as I stormed into our bedroom, where Alex was lounging on the bed, scrolling through his phone like nothing was wrong. Alex, what the hell were you thinking? I demanded, my voice sharp enough to cut glass. He looked up, annoyed. What's your problem now, Emma? My problem? You told my mom not to use the air conditioning. Do you have any idea how cruel that is? I shot back, my anger boiling over. Cruel? It's called being responsible. We're the ones paying the bills. And running the AC all day is a waste of money, he argued, his tone dismissive. A waste? What if she gets heatstroke because of this? Are you even listening to yourself? I countered, my voice rising. You're overreacting, as usual. It's always about your mom, isn't it? What about me? What about my feelings? He snapped, his face red with frustration. What are you even talking about? This isn't about you. I've been thinking about us, our future, the family we're trying to build, but you're too busy worrying about your parents to care. I fired back. Oh, so now it's my fault? If my parents are so important to me, maybe I should just focus on them, huh? He retorted, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Before I could respond, he grabbed a cushion and hurled it at me, then stomped off to bed, leaving me standing there, fuming. What is his problem? I muttered to myself. He leaves the AC on for himself all the time, but when it comes to my mom, suddenly it's a waste? How selfish can one person be? I couldn't shake the thought. Our house was rent-free because my mom had built it for us. She even paid the property taxes and gave us a monthly allowance. Alex knew all this, yet he acted like he was the one carrying the weight of the world. I wasn't asking for gratitude, just a little consideration. Was that too much? I sighed, sinking into the bathtub later that night, trying to calm my racing thoughts. We need to talk about this, I whispered to myself, but before I could figure out how to approach him, everything exploded. A few days later, I was at work when my phone buzzed. My mom's name flashed on the screen. My stomach dropped. She never called me during work hours. Something was wrong. Mom, what's going on? Are you okay? I asked, my voice tight with worry. Emma, help me, she cried, her voice shaking. What's happening? I asked, panic surging through me. Alex brought his parents here, and something terrible is going on, she explained, her words tumbling out in a rush. Wait, Alex brought his parents? When? Why? I asked, my mind racing. Before she could answer, I heard Alex's voice in the background, sharp and angry. Didn't I tell you not to call Emma? Hang up the phone. But Alex, this is serious, my mom protested. You're making things worse, just stop, he barked. The line went dead. My heart pounded as I grabbed my bag and rushed to my boss. I need to go home, it's an emergency. When I pulled up to the house, my jaw dropped. A moving truck was parked outside, and Alex was directing movers as they carried furniture and boxes into the house, our house. What the hell is going on? I demanded, storming up to him. Emma, you're home early, he said, looking surprised but not the least bit guilty. Don't Emma me, whose stuff is this? I snapped, gesturing to the movers. It's my parents, they're going through a tough time, so I invited them to stay here, he said, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. You invited them? Without asking me? Without asking my mom? This is her house too, I shouted, my voice cracking with anger. If I'd asked, you would have said no, so I didn't bother, he said, shrugging. Are you serious? You can't just move people in like this. Tell them to leave, I demanded, my hands trembling. We just got them settled, and you want to kick them out? You're unbelievable, he shot back, his face hardening. I'm unbelievable? You're the one who's being completely unreasonable. This isn't just your house, Alex, it's my mom's too, I yelled. Then he dropped the bombshell. Emma, think about it, my parents are healthy, they're more reliable for the future, we need to take care of them, he said, his tone eerily calm. What are you talking about? Reliable? Your parents have a gambling problem, how is that reliable? I asked, my voice rising in disbelief. From now on, we're prioritizing my parents. Your mom needs to leave, he said, his words cold and final. I looked over at my mom, standing in the corner, her face pale and her eyes filled with tears. That was it. My anger exploded. Enough, this is my mom's house, and you have no right to make decisions like this without me, I shouted, my voice echoing through the room. Alex shook his head, his expression stubborn. It's not just your mom's house, Emma, it's yours as her daughter, and mine as your husband, don't you get that? I understand my mom built this house and paid the property taxes, I said, my voice steady but laced with anger. But you moved your parents in without asking and now you're telling my mom to leave? How could you possibly think that was okay? Alex's face twisted into a sneer. Oh, so now I'm stupid? You're the one who doesn't get it. My parents are more important than your disabled mom with her short life expectancy. His words hit me like a punch to the gut. How dare you say something like that? I shouted, my hands trembling with rage. Before I could lash out, my mom gently touched my arm. Emma, calm down, she said softly, her voice a soothing balm to my fury. Mom, don't stop me, he can't talk to you like that, I pleaded, tears stinging my eyes. It's okay, she said, turning to Alex and his parents with a calm, steady gaze. Alex, if your parents are truly in trouble, they can stay here, but they need to leave once they find work. That was the deal, wasn't it? Alex forced a tight smile. Yeah, that's right, my dad got laid off, so we're just trying to figure things out. I see, my mom replied, her tone firm but fair. They can stay for a month, but make sure your father finds a new job. Understood? Thanks, Alex muttered, though his tone was anything but grateful. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. If we don't do something, they're going to take over our home, I whispered to my mom, my voice shaking with frustration. It'll be okay, Emma, trust me, for now, let's just leave, she said, her calmness grounding me. Though I hated the idea of backing down, my mom was the owner of the house, and I had to respect her decision. Reluctantly, I followed her lead. We packed our things and moved into a small apartment, starting a new chapter of our lives together. Mom, are you sure about this? It feels like we're letting them win, I asked one evening, still uneasy about the whole situation. It's fine, don't worry, she replied, sipping her tea with a serene expression. Oh, and don't contact them first. Wait for them to reach out to us. What do you mean? What are you planning? I asked, my curiosity piqued. It's nothing, she said with a cryptic smile, but I could tell there was more to it. Her calm confidence gave me a strange sense of hope, even though I had no idea what she was up to. 2 months later, my phone buzzed with a call from Alex. His voice was frantic. Emma, something terrible has happened. What's wrong? You sound stressed, I replied coolly, though my heart raced. It's not just something, we can't use the electricity, water, or gas at the house. Please, you have to help us, he begged, his voice cracking. I couldn't help but laugh. What do you mean, help? You stopped paying the bills, so of course the utilities were cut off. You stopped paying? Did you do this, Emma? He asked, his voice rising in panic. Yes, I did. I stopped paying for all the utilities. Is there a problem with that? I asked, feigning innocence. Of course there's a problem. Why would you do something so selfish? He shouted. Selfish? We waited a month, just like we agreed, but your parents still haven't found jobs, have they? In fact, they've been spending their days at the casino. Did you know that? I said, my tone sharp. What? That's not true, Alex protested, though his voice wavered. Oh, it's true. My mom's been keeping an eye on them. Every day after you leave for work, they head straight to the casino. That allowance you've been giving them? It's all gone, every penny, I said, unable to hide my satisfaction. Enough about my parents, just turn the utilities back on. We can't live like this, he begged, desperation creeping into his voice. My mom said not to use the air conditioner. It's a waste of electricity, remember? You only care about yourself. As long as you're comfortable, nothing else matters, I shot back. How can you say that to your husband? He yelled, his anger flaring. But I was done. You stayed with me and my mom for 2 months, living off her kindness, and now you act like you're in charge. Your family has been taking advantage of us this whole time. What kind of future did you think this would lead to? Shut up, you're making this worse, he screamed. You want a divorce? Fine, I've already decided I'm divorcing you, I said firmly, my voice steady. What? You can't be serious, he gasped. I'm not going to cling to a marriage that's caused nothing but pain. The utilities won't be turned back on until you leave. If you're fine with that, then stay there, I said, my resolve unshakable. Wait, don't do this, he pleaded, but I hung up the phone, cutting him off. I ignored his frantic messages over the next week. Finally, after days without electricity, water, or gas, Alex and his family packed up and left the house. The divorce was finalized without further drama, and my mom and I returned to our peaceful home. Meanwhile, Alex and his parents are struggling to make ends meet in a tiny apartment, relying on his meager income. They never showed gratitude, only complaints, and now they're facing the consequences of their actions. As for my mom and me, we're finally living the quiet, peaceful life we deserve, free from drama, free from selfishness, and free from anyone who doesn't appreciate the love and kindness we've always offered.